What do you think? Been working on this alien stuff lately. They got some really good models out there, so I became a fan pretty quick. I love Alien. Anyways, welcome back. Being a retired Marine family, we've crossed paths with a lot of people and made tons of friends worldwide. Social media has made it so easy to keep in touch with tons of people, so they all know about our love for 3D printing, trust me. With that comes the common questions. What printers do we have? And why are they all different? And which ones are better? And which one's our favorite? A few have even asked us which printer they should start with. Well, let's see if we can help you with that today, so let's get rolling.
For starters, we have 9 printers, but only 7 different ones. So we'll list them and give you a generalized idea so you can decide which ones you like or don't like. We have 4 Bambu Lab models. We have the A1, the P2S, X1 Carbon, and the H2D. We have 2 Elegoo Centauri Carbons, 2 SnapMaker U1s, and the newest is the FlashForge Creator 5 Pro.
We've had other printers such as the P1S that we upgraded, FL Sun T1 Pro that we sold to a family member, and 2 Creality K2 Pluses that I've given up on because I just got tired of trying to diagnose and chase issues. Got really old pretty fast. We'll start with a brief explanation of each printer with specific strengths that we prefer. Then we will unveil our favorite printer and why. And Jill and I are not on the same page, so stay tuned.
Bambu Lab busted onto the scene with some amazing printers. They keep delivering a user-friendly experience that resonates with users that demand quality prints, convenient ecosystems, accessible parts and upgrades, automated calibrations, all wrapped up in a massive community. Bambu Lab made 3D printing mainstream and has caused many other 3D printing companies to increase their productivity and ingenuity to remain relevant. I think we say this in every video, but competition is a good thing. All of their printers today comes with error detection, remote monitoring, automatic notifications due to the rise of AI, and self-checking benefits such as bed leveling, temperature monitoring, and in-depth troubleshooting guides.
They even provide a vast array of filaments that are detected with an RFID reader within all of their printers. Having their filaments allows for pre-programmed filament profiles that saves you from having to dial in those intricate settings. Bambu Lab has amazing quality on all of their printers, so your desire for your first printer might just come down to cost. In this case, the A1 is a great choice, coming in at around $300 for just the printer, or $400 multicolor version that has 4-color device called the AMS Lite. We don't have one, but an even cheaper version might be the A1 Mini with a smaller bed size, coming in at around $220.
Bambu Lab made multicolor prints more accessible to everyone, but there are a few caveats to consider when buying your first multicolor printer. First, again, comes the cost. You need to be aware that these style color printers provide a lot of wasted material because they have to flush each color from the printhead before grabbing and priming a new color. This is just a generalization, but over time, this waste can eventually become quite costly. The other single nozzle color printers from today's list that shares these same traits are the X1 Carbon, the P2S, and sometimes the more expensive H2D. I say sometimes because the H2D has 2 nozzles that can extrude 2 colors or separate materials within the same print without swapping filaments. I'll explain in a minute.
If you only want to print common materials like PLA or PETG, then the A1 might be great. Things also to consider are noise. Where are you printing? This is what they refer to as an open bed printer called a bed slinger. It moves the print bed back and forth while the x-axis moves left and right. All of these printers have a bed that rises and lowers to accommodate each layer. The A1 is still a fairly quiet printer, but being a bed slinger, the taller the print, the more likely you'll be prone to prints getting knocked over due to the strenuous travel on your projects. Now, the reason that we like this is for small, quick prints and being able to transport it around as a demonstration printer at vendor events. You're still going to get a lot of the same features that you have with the other printers, but in a smaller, compact form factor. But with this cheaper printer, they really did pack in a lot of features, like the light, the remote monitoring. You can control it with your app or check in on your prints. And you can modify it however you want. With this one, I've modified it by putting the old AMS connected to it, because you can actually change that in the system here when you install it. Instead of using their AMS Lite, Now I'm using the AMS so I can control humidity. Very good printer. Recommend it to anybody.
The X1 Carbon has since been discontinued, so you might be able to find one on discount, but it was Bambu Labs' flagship printer. It's an enclosed printer and maintains higher temperatures for harder and more abrasive materials. All printing materials are not created equal. When planning your next printer, you'll also have to decide what your primary goals will be. If you're printing materials that will go outside or in very hot locations, then heat can warp PLA and PETG, but ABS is a safe and sturdy choice. Printing ABS and harder materials will require an enclosed printer to alleviate temperature deviations, warmer temperature maintenance, and airborne toxin filtering. If you're printing in a confined area, printing carbon fibers and such is not a good idea, so you need a well-ventilated environment. An air filter is a good idea too. The X1 Carbon has many fail-safe features that will take much of the guesswork out and has just been a reliable fixture. This was our first enclosed printer, and it's still going strong 2 years later with over 4,000 hours of printing.
The P2S shares many similarities as the X1 Carbon, but started using AI to detect anomalies over the Carbon's more expensive LiDAR system. They made the P2S more accessible by pricing it lower at $750 for a full 4-color AMS system. They now use steel X-axis rods over the X1 Carbon's fiber rods for extended reliability. It also has slightly larger 5-inch touchscreen, and this is probably what the X1 Carbon should have been on its initial release. That's just an opinion. This printer is a beast and can print every industrial strength material. And another thing that makes the P2S appealing is it has quick swap nozzles. Removing the nozzle from the X1 Carbon takes a few screws, where the P2S just has a toggle switch to change sizes to replace old nozzles. But again, be reminded that this thing produces a lot of waste if you use the multicolors. We don't do a lot of multicolor prints because of the waste, and we have other printers that we could use that we don't provide waste. The print bed size on this is 256 millimeter cube, just like the X1 Carbon. Like I said, it's got a lot of similarities. It's just better and cheaper. But it prints very well. It's a go-to for us. One of the big appeals for this printer is the AMS2 Pro instead of the old AMS. It wasn't as reliable with the old AMS, but when they upgraded it, it's a lot faster. So you can produce waste that much faster. We do print a lot of more abrasive materials in this machine, and it's got a great filtration system, and it just gets hotter and it's faster and it's better and cheaper. How can you go wrong?
The H2D is slightly more special because not only does it provide a much bigger print volume with a 350 millimeter by 320 by 325 bed size, but it has 2 nozzles. The 2 nozzles allow for wasteless 2-color prints, multi-filament type printing, and overall money-saving calculations. It'll provide the best setup configuration estimates while preparing your multicolor prints. You now have the option for 5-color prints, but that's not the main feature. If you want to use a different material in conjunction with a main print, such as PETG as supports for your PLA prints, you're making it easier to remove supports because those 2 filament types don't blend well together. We've done this numerous times and it works great. Having the larger size gives you bigger prints like vases or helmets.
The quality is still amazing, and we think we now have everything we need to cover any project. Keep in mind, if you're using more than 2 colors, you'll still have waste because one nozzle will have to be dedicated to AMS control and color swapping. Overall though, we love this printer, and it can be upgraded later with a vinyl cutter or laser engraving system. It's expensive. It can also be upgraded to their multi-head vortex system that allows for 7-color wasteless purge material. The printer comes in at $1,750, but if you want to upgrade it, the Vortex system is another $800. So if you want the H2C, which that's what you'll result in having, just outright buy it for $2,200, or what will end up being $2,550 after upgrading. Overall, we love this printer that provides all of the latest technology Bambu could stuff into one box. It's truly an amazing printer.
Now that you understand multi-head printing, SnapMaker stepped up to give us a 4-head multicolor/filament printer where each head is dedicated to one color or material. Before, tech like this was available from more renowned and expensive companies like Prusa, but SnapMaker came in with a budget option for around $800 versus Prusa's $4,000 system. The release of this printer had the 3D printing community going crazy. Their Kickstarter brought in the highest winnings in 3D printing history at a record-breaking $20 million. I guess everyone wanted this one. We were amongst those investors, and it was worth every dime. We made multiple videos surrounding this printer, and it's just a reliable 4-color, almost zero waste, and fast printer.
We liked it so much that we bought another one when they were released to the public. By SnapMaker doing this, here came FlashForge with their Creator 5 and their Creator 5 Pro for a bit cheaper. Competition is a good thing. Did we already say that? The 5 is $700 and the Pro is $850, so it made sense to spend the extra $150 to get a cover, an enclosure, and hotter chamber for those more abrasive materials. So far, it's performed just as well as the SnapMakers, and it's very difficult to differentiate print quality amongst the two. It's almost hard to tell the difference between these and the Bambu Lab printers. Two different shades of greens, my bad. But hey, can you pick which one came off of which printer?
Oh, God. I'd say that's probably an Elegoo. I'd say both of those are Elegoo. That one, I'm going to call SnapMaker on that one and FlashForge on that one. Nope, that's SnapMaker. Elegoo, I got that one right. And I said FlashForge on this one. Another win. And H2D.
H2D.
2 out of 4 is not bad.
So we're very happy with the quality that we're able to get out of the studio in general. FlashForge did drop some features to cut some cost, and some are saying that they were unnecessary anyways, such as purge treatment, plastic doors, and single tool head extrusion. What I mean by single extrusion is the tool head itself has the extruder in it, while a lot of the other tool changers have the extruders within each of the hot ends. Well, they omitted all of the extruders out of the hot ends and put them into the main tool head. That way it's only got one, and if it ever goes bad, then it's easier to replace and it's a lot more cost effective. They're constantly making updates since this is a newer printer, and so far, anybody that's made any complaints, they have made every attempt to try to fix those in firmware updates. We're going to see a lot more updates with this, but at least they were able to send me a lid. You hear me, SnapMaker?
So far, we've talked about the Bambu Lab systems along with SnapMaker and FlashForge, but we have 2 more enclosed single-color budget printers. Well, one of them is about to get a multicolor upgrade. We're talking about the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. It is a very affordable $300 printer, and it can print anything. Our daughter and son-in-law even bought one for their business. He upgraded to steel nozzles for under $20 and has successfully printed materials like carbon fiber nylon that they use for outdoor adventures. Nobody could believe how cheap these systems were, and we honestly believe it helped push open printers and bed slingers further off the map.
They're open source, they're easy to use, and they're sturdy single color machines, but you can buy their $55 upgrade kit to make it a full 4-color printer, which we already have and haven't received it yet, but we're trying to match that already in production Centauri Carbon 2. We bought the first one to do a bit more experimental, guilt-free hot material printing, and it was so good for clean, reliable prints that we found another one on Marketplace for only $250, and the guy brought it to me. And it was in brand new condition. Making plates of per color models for our retro prints has been much easier and faster due to this pair of great printers. These printers do not have RFID, but the new $55 multicolor filament feeder does have RFID. It's called Canvas, and when we get it, we'll share this with you in the installation process. But we're really looking forward to having multicolor on at least one of these printers. If you're looking at these plates right here, these plates do not come with these printers. They're from Big Tree Tech or Big Q, BQ. I'll put a link down below for you to check out. We love how tacky they are, and we picked our own specific colors to match our themes. I guess by now you might be wondering which is my favorite, and I have to say it is the FlashForge Creator 5 Pro. It isn't better, it's just what works best for me. Even though I love them all, I keep using this one because it's quiet, rich in features, easy to prepare, and overall just reliable. They're going to provide a lot of future updates to this, which they've already been making profound updates to it, but they're not done yet. Just so you don't think that this is part of it, this is a Creality Space Pi 4, and I used it to feed the filament in here, but you still have to manually load the filament within the printer, and it does not have RFID reader. So those are the things that you don't have to worry about going bad, because Even the feeder motors on the SnapMakers, I've had to replace 2 of them already. Knowing to what printer Jill's going to pick? I already know.
My favorite is, of course, the SnapMaker U1, simply because I do more of our multicolor printing and that printer has not let me down.
It all comes down to how much you want to spend for extra bells and whistles that you may or may not need. There's a lot to think about, but keep in mind, if you can find your desired printer from places like Best Buy, you have another source of comfortability with Geek Squad, lengthened return dates, and price matching options.
To sum it up, the vast majority of printers are great in today's market. Bambu Lab has a robust ecosystem, solid customer service, abundant replacement part access, and overall great experience. They really changed the game that every household can enjoy 3D printing. You snooze, you lose. SnapMaker and FlashForge have crushed it with the minimal waste, affordability, and overall ease of use. FlashForge has a better grasp on replacement parts than SnapMaker. The demand for the U1 and their top lids have set them back a bit, but they're catching up. We hope you enjoyed our general rundown of our printers and genuinely hope you're closer to finding that perfect printer for you. If you got what you needed or wanted, please consider subscribing. And if anything, please hit like for all this work in making something that will help somebody make a better decision when getting their first printer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.